welcome to High Plains History. I'm joined by Claudia Stravato. With the League of Women Voters. So, tell me a little bit about the League of Women Voters. Celebrated 75 years recently here in Amarillo. So, tell me a little bit about the history and kind of how it got started here in Amarillo 75 years ago.
Yes, there is a belief that ranching areas produce very strong women, more so than farming areas. And so the women in this area are pretty strong. And at the time that we formed back in the 50s, women could not serve on juries. Women couldn't do a whole lot of things. And we got the right to serve on juries in 1954. And so when 1955 came and we formed the League of Women Voters, the first thing the League did was have training sessions on how to serve on a jury so that women would know what to expect, how the process worked, and how they were expected to dress and behave. That was big back in the 50s, dress and behave. And that was one of the first big things we took on, and we even printed a little brochure about it so that women would not be afraid to serve on juries because they had not been able to until that point.
And so, I know the league itself, the National League, is 100 years old. So, tell me a little bit about, I guess how the National League gets started and how, there's that 25-year, I guess, gap in between on how it goes from here to Amarillo.
Yes, the league officially organized as the result of women getting the right to vote. And women wanted to make sure that they were informed and could vote intelligently. The word had been prior to then that women's brains might explode if they were filled with political information or government information, which was ludicrous. But nevertheless, women wanted to prove that they could and would vote and were aware of the issues. And so that's why the league started, was to train women about the local, state, and national issues so they would be informed when they voted. And they also wanted to make sure that everybody else was informed when they voted and that, in fact, people would vote. And we're most visible with our registering voters. We're outside grocery stores and all kinds of businesses registering people to vote. And our voters guide, where we print who all is running. We ask them to write in their own words what their stance is, what their values are, what they are running for, and then we print those verbatim, and then we make a little newspaper out of it, and we distribute those all over town. And we also have, we've done this from the beginning, and we also have candidate forums where we have the candidates come and we give them a limited amount of time to state their position when they're running for office. This helps to educate the public. Those three things make us most visible, and we've done that from the beginning because most people don't take the time or don't have the time to find out what a candidate stands for. So when they have both a little newspaper that has in the candidate's own words what they stand for, or they come to a candidate forum, then they'll be informed about who they wish to vote for.
And so, tell me a little bit about the importance of having the League of Women Voters here in Amarillo in this area for 75 years.
Well, the league in general, tries to get people to vote and to be informed when they vote. We also take positions on issues, but after a great deal of study, both at the local, state, and national level, the league has positions. I know our league in the past studied water and have a position on water, on trafficking, on the public schools and sex education. So what we in addition to promoting voting, informed voting, we also look at issues that are relevant to the community and educate the community. Right now, our study issue has been maternal morbidity and mortality. We have real problems up here in Region 1 of the health department with women either having severe complications at birth or dying at birth with the birth of a child. And we do everything that we can to make the community aware of these issues that affect everyone.
So it's something where you're trying to also inform what affects you locally as well. Like the issues here may not be the same as say Houston
That's
or
exactly right. Exactly. We live in an area that is a prenatal desert. There are very few doctors in the outlying areas of the panhandle, and our hospitals and our doctors serve a three-state area. We serve the Oklahoma panhandle, and we serve eastern New Mexico, and sometimes we even serve southwestern Kansas and southeastern Colorado. At any one given time, because the rural areas, there isn't a concentration of doctors. We're the largest city between Dallas and Denver. And so we suffer from not having enough doctors in our region. So that's why we took on the issue of maternal morbidity and mortality. And we've spent several years on that. We initially worked with Mayor Nelson when she was mayor. She was also a member of the League of Women Voters. And she called a meeting together of city departments and asked both WIC and the health department to work with us to see what we could do to get more prenatal care for poor women. And we found that the biggest obstacle was getting signed up for Medicaid. And so we went all over the city making talks, talking to groups, continued to work with the city. And then when our new mayor came in, he worked with us as well and had the health department develop a women's clinic. And that's been extremely helpful. It can't replace needing doctors in the rural areas. It can't replace getting women here on time to deliver their babies from these rural areas. But it does give poor women another opportunity to get help and to get to be seen and for prenatal care or referred for prenatal care.
And so you talked about the voter guides as well, and you guys you've said that you guys have been doing that since day one. So tell me a little bit about those voter guides and the importance of getting those out to people. I know we use them for when we're doing voting or when we're covering voting and the elections and stuff like that, and they're very helpful. So tell me a little bit about using those and having those for people to make decisions.
Well, it's I smile because I'm already getting calls. Where are the voters' guides? Where are the voters' guides? They're coming. It's a bunch of little old ladies in tennis shoes who put that thing together. We get the state level information from Austin, but the local level, we literally contact everybody who's running and get them to write a statement. And that's like, getting blood out of a turnip. It's a huge undertaking. There's only one place left that prints on newsprint, and I can't remember whether it's Wheeler or Shamrock. Anyway, it's not close. Recently, the last 2 or 3 years, we had it printed by the Globe News, in Lubbock, and they would insert a voter's guide in the newspaper, but they quit printing it, and their paper is now printed in El Paso. And so we can't afford to send ours to El Paso to get it printed and get it back. So it's a huge undertaking. It's one that we are really, really careful with and committed to. And we go around raising money. It costs money to print that thing. And then distribute. It's little ladies in tennis shoes who run around town dropping them off at grocery stores and coffee shops and TV stations, and everybody relies on the voter's guide. And they think they grow on trees, but they don't. We just work like dogs to put that thing out, and it's true in every community where there's a league.
And tell me a little bit about, because I know, you'll go to an event, whether it's a convention in town or something like that, and you guys are there. Whether it's, I don't know. I know with me, I've gone to, Amicon, and
Yes, we're always at the Amicon.
yeah, you guys are set up there. What does it mean for you guys to be out at these certain places, set up to talk to people, to talk about voting, to talk about, whatever you guys are there to, the importance of voting and getting your voices heard? What does it mean for you guys to be out at those events?
It's terribly important, even if we don't register anybody at an event, which is seldom the case. But sometimes we don't. We register more at some events than we do at others. But we're there. They see us, and it reminds them about voting. We remind them, "Oh, I've got to vote. I've got to vote," and that's important. Our visibility is very important to getting people to remember that that's their civic duty.
And so, going off of, you guys have been around for 75 years. What are some of the things that 75 years ago people were worried about? What are people still worried about today? What has not changed?
That's hard to say. For many, many years, women worried about having full and equal legal rights. In the 70s, a bill was passed and we got full family rights, whether it was insurance, whether it was child support or divorce, whether it was in banking. They used to have to take a woman off in a separate room before you could get a loan. Up until the 70s, a school district couldn't hire a woman without her husband's approval and signature. And if she didn't have a husband, then she had to have a brother or a father or an uncle. So we were really geared to demand and get women's equal rights. In recent years, the emphasis changes. What never changes is getting people to vote. That voting component of the league, it never changes. It and the voter's guide, getting people informed about who's running for office. And then there are different issues that come up from time to time that are just peculiar to that time. But the voting and the information are key that never change.
And as of late, have you seen a surge in people wanting to get out and vote and let their voices be heard, or like you said, is it always just maybe a cause or something that people are going, I've got to get registered vote, I've got to let my voices be heard, or I got to let my voice be heard? Is it that too?
Yes, and I think particularly now, people are upset. The league is upset because we promote voting. And there are some proposals out to get rid of voting by mail, even though we have 12 states that vote only by mail. In Texas, we vote by mail if you're old and infirm and can't get down there to vote, or if you're going to be out of town. And the proposal is to do away with all mail-in voting, and we're very concerned about that. We're very concerned about a proposal that requires that you bring a passport or a birth certificate every time you vote. and that there would be no registration outside of the formal registration. We work closely with the voter administrators and try to help them out as much as we can, and doing away with universal registration. Right now, once you register, you're registered unless you move. And so we fill out a lot of voter cards for people who've either moved within town or moved to town. And so we're concerned about those proposals. Everybody seems to be concerned about the behavior of ICE, even though Texas hasn't seen as much of a concentration of ICE agents like Milwaukee has. Everybody's upset, without regard to party, about what's going on and how people are being treated. And so we expect more people to vote this year than usually do.
And what's some of the big misconceptions when it comes to voting or getting registered to vote, or like you said, mail in voting and all that? What's some of those big misconceptions that people may have, that when it comes to, maybe they ask you guys, they come up to you at maybe Amicon or something like that, and they go, "Can you answer these questions for me? Because I have all these questions and I need them answered." What are some of those questions or concerns people
Well,
have?
strangely enough, one of the main questions is, I've been in jail, I've been to prison, can I vote? You know, Texas has more people in prison than almost anybody, and the United States has more people in prison than any other country. And so you've got lots of people who are on probation or parole, or who've just gotten out. So we're asked about that very often. The league worked very hard several years ago to make sure that once a person had paid their dues, had served their term, and paid their dues, and were no longer under supervision, they could vote. And so we tell them that, you either, are you still paying on court costs? Is your parole over? And that's the main question we get. And then people don't understand that the minute you move, you lose your universal registration and you have to re-register. And that's commonly misunderstood. We we don't have as many people come up to us and ask questions about if they're a citizen or not, or they're in the process of becoming a citizen. Can they vote? And those are the three main things. But the main one is about having been in jail or prison.
And so, tell me a little bit about, as you look forward, as we look forward to maybe the next 75 years. What do you hope the league accomplishes? I know 75 years is a long time, but what do you hope the league accomplishes, or maybe when it comes to voting, or something like that? What do you hope the league accomplishes in 5, 10 years from
Well,
now?
I can only talk about locally and in Texas. And one of the things, Texas is the only big state and one of the few remaining states that does not allow you to register online. And that's a real impediment. The proposal that's out that you can't vote unless you show a passport or a birth certificate is going to impact that. They would probably no longer allow you, these states that vote that can register online, to do so. But if these really poorly thought out proposals do not pass, we hope to get a registration online. And technology's taking over everything. And we've always been, feet on the ground, little old ladies running around. And we need to be more aware of technology and how to use it in our work. During COVID, we went to Zoom meetings, and we still have Zoom board meetings. And it's easier for people who don't like to drive at night. Back when the league started, women were not in the workforce to the extent they are now. And so you had very accomplished, well educated women who did not work, who were in the league and ran it. And they were formidable, let me tell you. They used to scare me to death, and they all wore suits. Nowadays, women work, and so we have meetings on Saturday, and we have Zoom meetings for the board. And as time goes on, it's going to be hard to see how women can work and be involved in a volunteer activity. And so we're hoping that we can figure out new ways for women to be involved with the league and still hold down full jobs.
And so, when it comes to the league, is it something that you want more young women involved in as well? Is it something that you're trying to get more young women involved in and trying to get them active into the league as well?
We want them. We don't have a lot of opportunities to recruit young women like in college or where they're working. For the most part, we have a lot of retired women, a lot of retired school teachers. We don't have a lot of what I would call corporate women who hold high positions in their businesses. And we would certainly benefit by having more of them. We have a sliding scale for membership now. We would like more minorities to be members of the league, and we work on that. We are a fairly diverse group, and we're very proud of that. And it's our voter activities that attract people. Sometimes, if we're studying an issue that people are interested in, it will attract some women to join. But we are running about 100 members, and so many of them work, and it's mainly our retired members who do a lot of the legwork.
Well, how can people find out more about the league and what you guys do, and find out I guess what you guys do and where you guys are going to be at, and maybe how they can get I guess registered to vote, and all of that stuff to know about all the important things that are coming up, especially before March.
Yes, we are on Facebook under League of Women Voters of Amarillo. It's easier to say Amarillo League of Women Voters, but our corporate charter is League of Women Voters of Amarillo. And it gives all the basic information. We advertise our meetings. We have monthly meetings. We just had one last week, and we had the voter registrar for Randall County come and speak about changes in voter registration and cutoff dates. And we try to have our meetings about government and politics and candidates because that's what the league is about. And they can see a lot of it on Facebook. We usually try to get into the newspaper on Sundays, but the newspaper isn't as widely read as it used to be. So going on Facebook and looking us up is the best way right now to find out about when we meet, what we're doing, what we can do. And like I said, we're just about everywhere with our voter registration. If there's a conference going on, we're there.
All right. Well, you're a wealth of knowledge. You're always somebody that we always love talking to, and you are always providing us great information when it comes to voting and what we need to do during the election cycle.
Yes, and I'm a 50-year member of the league. I've been in it. I first got into it in St. Louis, where I lived before I moved to Amarillo. And joining the league is the best way for a newcomer to Amarillo to find out about the city and how it operates, and the city council, the county commissioners court, and the state representatives. So I encourage any women who are new to town who want to find out about Amarillo to join the League of Women Voters.
All right, Claudia. Well, we appreciate it. Thanks for joining us.